Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Mag. So I hope you're all staying safe and well out there. So in this video, we are going to be, of course, talking about the recent breaking news about Khvicha Kvaratskheila from Napoli. Of course, this news is absolutely massive. We will get into it in this live stream, of course, and talk about my thoughts about this news coming out of the Serie A. But before we get into, of course, that news, we do have to talk about the recent news circulating around about Harvey Barnes, an update on Harvey Barnes once again, and of course a person that I haven't talked about yet on the channel, but I have seen being talked about quite a bit for Newcastle United, and that is Axel Dazisi, I believe it's pronounced. And of course we will talk about them updates on both of them players. So of course, as you can see up on screen, of course, the news is coming from Fabrizio Romano in Court Offside. They are saying that Newcastle could be busy in the next weeks as, of course, we look to agree key details on Harvey Barnes' deal. And, of course, Axel Dazisi is one of our targets at centre-back as well. Somebody that is being heavily linked with a move to Man United as well. Eric Ten Baldi, as I like to call him, of course, has been trying to push Harry Maguire off to Newcastle so that, of course, they can try and get Dazisi from Monaco. But that's never, ever going to happen. Why would we go for Harry Maguire when we can, of course, get Axel Dazisi in from Monaco, especially, of course, if Monaco is wanting to get rid of the player. Then, of course, it is a player that we will be looking at bringing in. Now, I'm not going to come out here on this live stream and say, you know, that I have seen Axel play. I really haven't seen this lad play, so I don't know what kind of player he is. I have heard that he's quite a good player from quite a few other Newcastle United fans that have been talking about him on YouTube, like Adam Pearson, Matty as well has been talking about him on YouTube as well, alongside Rubenstein and a few other of the lads have been talking about him. And, you know, he could be a big player for us if we could get him to sign for Newcastle United. He's a young lad as well, so he would fill in that spot, like I was saying in previous videos, where we need somebody to come in to that right centre-back role to take over from Fabian Schär, allowing Fabian Schär, of course, a little bit of a rest throughout the season instead of him having to play all the games all the time, because we know that, of course, that does cause problems for Schär in fitness. Of course, he's had many hamstring problems over the years as well, and he's had quite a few injury problems over the years at Newcastle United as well. I can see quite a few people coming into the chat that I haven't seen around here before, so thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in, of course, and I will get to some of the comments in the chat, of course, but I think if we can get somebody like Axel Dazisi into the club, that would be absolutely fantastic. You know my thoughts on Harvey Barnes. I have said it in previous videos. He is a player that I would really like to see play for Newcastle United, and it is, of course, a massive statement signing as well, with the way he's already played in the Premier League for Leicester, and he's got good stats in the Premier League whilst he played there for Leicester, of course. So it is a player that I would like to see come to Newcastle United. Harvey Barnes, definite signing in my eyes that I would love to see happen. Moving along, of course, we will look at the news on what Jordan Cronin put out. Of course, he says Harvey Barnes didn't feature in Leicester's behind closed doors friendly with Peterborough United. Of course, this is from, of course, a few days back now. And according to the Foxes Club website, the 25-year-old was rested. So maybe that could be a sign, you know, that the deal is a lot further along than quite a few people may think. That is a massive boost as well. You know, hearing that he didn't take part in their friendly behind closed doors with Peterborough United. Of course, like I say, this was a few days ago. Jordan Cronin put that back up on, of course, the 11th of July. So it is quite a few days back now, of of course, with us already being in the 16th of July. But we'll see, what happens moving forward with that. We will move on to, of course, Khvicha Edwards, who had something to say on the Axel Dazisi links, saying, of course, have checked out Axel Dazisi links to Nufc, and doesn't look like it's something they are pursuing. My head hurts, so many links over the last few days. As ever, let's wait and see. But like I've always said with Edwards, he is a one that does like to wind up the fan base. He's a one that isn't got his finger on the pulse as well. And he is a person that is usually always made fun of by Eddie Howe in, of course, the press conferences, because he always comes up with absolute garbage that the club has never said. So, do take this tweet by Khvicha Edwards, of course, with a pinch of salt, because at the end of the day, like I say, this guy really doesn't have his finger on the pulse. And, you can never take anything that he says for granted, basically. Moving away from, of course, that comment, we will talk about one that Jordan Cronin put up, of course, saying that Newcastle opened talks with Dan Burn over an improved contract to reflect his key role with the squad. The Blythe-born defender is part of the club's leadership group and performed superbly at left back last season. Of course, he filled in really well at left back last season, and he has, of course, done well there for quite a bit. Of course, since coming into the club, he managed to find himself in that left back position, pushing Matty Target out of that left back position, who is a natural left back, and Dan Burn is literally pushing him out of that position. So that shows how well Dan Burn was last season playing in that left back position. And I'm sure we will look to find some sort of recruitment in that left back position going forward, I'm sure, because Dan Burn is aging. He is going towards the latter end of his career, but he will, of course, still put in his all for Newcastle United, because he is a local lad. He's going to give more than 110% for Newcastle United in the games, and that is what any of us lads would do. If we had the chance to play for our hometown club, then we would be doing exactly the same as what Dan Burn's doing. He's just living the dream of all us Newcastle United fans, the dream that all us Newcastle United lads want to do, and lasses want to do, of course, because now the women can get in on it as well there with the Newcastle United women's team, who are doing some fantastic stuff in their transfer window as well, bringing in plenty of signings there and improving their squad for, of course, this massive challenge ahead for them as well. But moving away from the Dan Burn news, of course, my thoughts on that. That's a fantastic deal to get Dan Burn sealed down to a new contract. Let's, of course, look at the news of Harvey Barnes' signing fee, of course, the amount that would be buying him for. Eddie Howe is keen to sign him, 35 mil rated Barnes, of course, but expect strong competition from West Ham. It is expected at the end of the day, that there is going to be plenty of other Premier League clubs like West Ham, Aston Villa, Fulham, even Brighton, that will be looking at players like Harvey Barnes, because they can do something for them. There will be plenty of teams like that looking at some of the lads that have went down last season with their teams out of the Premier League, because that is an untapped pool. It is an area that not many people will look at, but there will be, of course, quite a few in the Premier League that will be looking to bring in some talent from that area. But Eddie Howe, keen fan of Harvey Barnes, so that bodes really well for us to be bringing him in to the club. Moving away from that, of course, we'll go to now the big news. Of course, the massive news that has broke from Serie A, and this is probably one of the biggest stories today circulating around Newcastle United, and that is none other than Khvicha Kvaratskheila, I believe it is pronounced, And of course, this news is absolutely massive. Newcastle United, of course, according to Centre Goals, Talk Sport, Team Talk, The Express, so many different publications are all over this, saying breaking Newcastle United have reportedly made a bid of 82 million to Napoli for Khvicha Kvaratskheila, of course, and they're saying it's about 95 million euros for the Georgian international. This is a massive deal because there's quite a few people wanting to bring this lad to their team. Liverpool have been looking at this lad. Jurgen Klopp is a big fan of this lad as well. So, of course, that is another team that has already picked us to one player. But at the end of the day, it was expected that Dominic Szoboszlai would have went to Liverpool because of course, the links with him being a big Liverpool fan. So, that one was always pretty much going to happen once you've seen, the deal deeper into it. But Khvicha looks like he could be a really good signing for us. He's been setting the Serie A alight, and of course, like I say, it's not only Centre Goals that's been coming up with this news. It's also other publications as well, like the Transfer Exchange Show, who are also saying Newcastle have reportedly tabled an 82 million bid. It's like 95 million euros for the 22-year-old Georgian winger, who, like I say, has been absolutely setting it alight in the Serie A. Of course, Team Talk as well have been putting out this news as well. And there's also, of course, Craig Hope, who put out a piece saying that Eddie Howe has told us that nothing is close to Ori Cummings, and we don't have a huge budget to work with, but has stressed need to add to squad. He said budget is strict and they'll have to be creative. And then, of course, there's a Newcastle fan here saying you had people sharing stories and rumours of 95 million euro bid for Napoli winger Khvicha Kvaratskheila, of course. But like I said about the Edwards news, where he was trying to, pour water on this news of, Newcastle going out and signing players like Harvey Barnes and Chase, of course, from Juve. At the end of the day, not everybody knows what is going on behind the scenes. The club are not going to come out there and they're not going to tell you exactly, what is the transfer budget for the season. They're not going to tell you exactly who they're going for in the window, neither. No club would ever do that. And I have said that in the previous video, about when Luke Edwards was playing some pretty bad games with us Newcastle United fans, and he was trying to pour cold water on, a lot of fans' hopes and a lot of fans, wishes for players to come to Newcastle United. And again, he has another supposedly Newcastle fan, coming out and doing exactly the same thing. Now, what I say to this person, here, of course, if they are a Newcastle fan indeed, then you just need to take time. You need to be patient. You need to wait out and see what happens in the window. Yes, we are being linked to a lot of players. Yes, we're not going to sign all of them, but we do have a much bigger transfer budget than a lot of people are trying to, say we have. I heard at the beginning of the transfer window that we only had about 75 million. That was coming from quite a few journalists, pretty much local journalists as well. Like Craig Hope came out and said the same thing. But, that could again be a tactic by the club put out to, of course, play down the fact that, we've got money there to spend and to go out there and buy players. Like I say, if we go out there and we see exactly how much we have to spend, then we are going to be ripped off. That is plain, it's day that will happen, that we will be ripped off if we go out there and see exactly how much money we have to spend. So that's why, you know, no club would ever do that. And the local journalists, you know, of course, are just playing right into, of course, that tactic, and they should know themselves, you know, that that is clearly a tactic, you know, to help us improve the squad without being, you know, ripped off by every single club out there, because we have seen it before. You know, we've seen it with the likes of Everton. They got completely ripped off right, left and centre. Of course, they were mugs in themselves to be going out there and paying the kinds of money that they were for the talent that they were bringing in, especially talent that is an aging player coming into the club on massive wages. You know, that's not going to benefit you going forward, and sometimes it doesn't even benefit you in the present moment, you know, as you bring them into the club, because they might be, you know, already past their best performances. But looking at some of the comments here, we'll go through a few of the comments. I see Luca there, the Arsenal fan, of course, who usually comes on the channel, saying that he is live, of course, on his channel. So hopefully he's having a good stream over there. There's a comment here. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Khvicha and CBR happy. Newcastle want Maseri Levia. Top four. I'm not quite sure on that comment, to be honest. I know Khvicha there, but I'm not too sure on the other ones, to be honest on that. Sorry about that. Northeast Pyro, hello, hi mate, welcome to the stream. Northeast Pyro again, just saying call there, hi mate. Again, sorry if I can't pronounce your name there. Trippier is gonna order Joe Linton, Tonali, Bruno G. Players Newcastle is trading Poseidon. The Hoppins fan Newcastle happy. Let them come. I'm not too sure on that comment there. Sorry about that. Are you just basically saying, you know, that you want to see really good players come at Newcastle United? If so, then I'm right there with you. I fully agree. You know, we want to see the best players obviously playing in the black and white at St James's Park. But it's going to be, of course, a case of being patient, waiting. You know, my dad Goodissi said it best when they first came into the club. You know, take the patience as a virtue, of course, is what he said when they first came into the club. You know, so that is the whole thing that we've got to do as Newcastle United fans. We've just got to sit and wait and see who we're saying. Of course, hopefully we're saying some fantastic players. I've got all the trust and the faith in the board to do the right things. We've got some fantastic people on the board as well. You know, Dan Ashworth, he's done some fantastic stuff in football. You know, before he went to Brighton, he was the man responsible for the England DNA, the man responsible for building up, of course, English football and making sure that, you know, we have a national team, an international team, sorry, that can go out there and perform, you know, in tournaments. And we've seen that benefit hugely with the under-21 tournament just gone there, you know, with Anthony Gordon picking up a trophy alongside the rest of his fellow English under-21 lads, of course. So that, again, you know, is credit to obviously the players for their performances in that under-21 tournament, but also, you know, down to the work of Dan Ashworth behind the scenes, of course, during his time at the English FA and part of course, the England setup for the international team as well. I see Geordie News is in the chat there. Hi, mate. I hope you're doing well, and I have been watching your videos as well on your channel. It's nice to see that you are getting a bit more exposure towards your channel as well, and hopefully we will, of course, get to see a video where you, of course, appear on the camera and talk as well. That would be really nice to see, is that, like I said, you know, in the advice to you, will, of course, benefit your channel absolutely massively going forward as well. Like I say, you know, patience is a virtue. We have to wait. We have to see what happens. Of course, there's plenty of time left in the transfer window, as we are still only in July, you know, so there is plenty of time left in this transfer window to be able to bring in the talent that we need for this season. And of course, Eddie Howe obviously wants to bring in the players, you know, before the season starts, so it allows for a chance to be able to build up the fitness level, get them, you know, into the way of Eddie Howe's playing style as well moving forward. So, you know, if any of this has been of note to you in this video today, please do hit a like on the video. Please do consider subscribing to the channel as well. And you can also donate to the channel if you want to by hitting the super thanks button. It is the $ underneath the live chat. You can put in any donation you want on there. All donations are welcome. And also, if you're watching this on the replay after, of course, then it's the super thanks down below with the $ again. And of course, any donations are welcome, of course, as they all help the channel, of course, moving forward. You can also join the membership if you haven't become a member of the channel yet. It's only $1.99 a month, and you do get some perks for being a member to the channel as well. The perks, of course, at the moment for being a member to the channel, of course, is a shout out on the channel once a month, and of course you get priority replies in videos, of course, as long as you are a member. But I do reply to everybody in the comments, but obviously people who are members will get, of course, a priority reply, so they'll get commented to first. So if you want to be commented to first, then of course become a member. Like I say, it's only $1.99 a month, but till next time, of course, I hope all what's been said in this video has been of note to you, and I'll see you all in the next one. However, lads.